43 Monday, 43 Tuesday, and 41 on Wednesday. Another look at the short range, a high of 60 today. Lows level off around 31 tonight. We should top off around 58 tomorrow. Get up to the minute weather updates from the Weatherology Weather Center. I'm staff meteorologist Paul Trombley on this NWKS radio station. Currently, it's 29 degrees.
Home ownership. At Progressive, we know it's part of the American dream. It's winds blowing across a fruited plain, and also your new fire pit, which subsequently sets your gazebo ablaze. It's hard-hitting football, and an even harder-hitting price estimate from your general contractor. That's a star-spangled bummer. It's also around-the-clock protection when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, which can help keep the American dream of home ownership alive and kicking. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Hi, everyone. If you or someone you know were diagnosed with lung cancer or mesothelioma, listen up, because you could be entitled to significant compensation. We have legal professionals standing by right now to take your call, and they'll tell you if you qualify for a cash settlement. Call 800-570-0200. That's 800-570-0200. Call now and find out how much money you could potentially get.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
Goodland's Rocket 102.5 is your home for Goodland High School athletics. From touchdowns and three-pointers to home runs, Ross Volkmer has you covered with all the action. Join him for live broadcast on Goodland's Rocket 102.5, your front row seat to the Cowboys and Cowgirls. Select games video streamed on the Goodland Voice. GHS athletics this season are made possible in part by
Yost Farm Supply, Lore Electric, Next Tech Wireless, Hurl Chevrolet GMC, and the Cowboy Corner Express.
Ready to elevate your drive? Hurl Chevrolet GMC has unbeatable offers on the 2024 lineup. Right now, get 0% APR on the powerful GMC Sierra 1500 with a 5.3-liter engine, plus over $3,200 in trade assistance when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Or step up to the 2024 Yukon with 5.9% APR for 72 months and make no payments for 90 days. These are the deals you've been waiting for to drive the best of GMC. Visit Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas today or online at hurlchev.com.
This holiday season, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has the perfect gifts to make Christmas merry and bright. Need something special for that grill master? Check out their top line of grills and griddles from Blackstone, Traeger, and Weber. Guaranteed to make their holiday sizzle. Stocking stuffers, they've got you covered with tools, gadgets, and must-haves for every DIYer in your life. And tackle winter head-on with their powerful Eco snowblowers, perfect for clearing the way this season. Plus, spruce up your home for the holidays with a fresh coat of Benjamin Moore paint, or get ready for the new year with a stunning remodel. Enjoy the holidays this year with Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, with locations in Goodland and Colby.
Available at Next Tech Wireless in 4 bold colors: black, pink, teal, and ultramarine. Which iPhone 16 color will you choose? Built for Apple Intelligence with the all-new A18 chip, a new feature camera control, and a big boost in battery life. Get the new iPhone 16 on us. Next Tech Wireless. Home on the range.
Phones nowadays can do practically anything, including feed you.
And now they cannot.
Well, that is if you download the McDonald's app. Use the McDonald's app to get deals on the food you love, including McCafes, soft drinks, fries, and so much more. Plus, keep up to date on what's trending at McDonald's with the latest promotions, events, new products, and specials. You can even order and pay from the app. So download it today and score from your local McDonald's at Burlington, Colby, Goodland, and Lamar.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
The amount of money getting thrown around to quarterbacks who haven't done diddly squat is amazing to me.
The region's only local sports talk.
Listen to this guy. He knows what he's talking about.
Broadcasting on Goodland's Rocket 102.5. Simulcasting on Goodland's 730 Gold KLOE.
Guys everywhere.
Discussing it all from the preps.
It's been a long, long time.
but the Goodland Cowboys are going to play for a state title.
To the pros.
How about a walk-off grand slam? Touch of all time, Ryan McMahon.
The Blitz is presented by Pearl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank, as well as the Insurance Agency, Farmer State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Let's go to work.
Foley blocked. Opportunity for the Zips to cash it in. Will they fall on it in the end zone or out of bounds? Let's see. No signal yet. Officials conferring. Touchdown, Zips.
Back to Ruffin up top. Driving left, slashing down the lane. Gabitskoski in the right corner. Bullseye with that 3 again. He's hit 3 of those in the early going. He has 9 of the Buffalo's 11 points.
Got too deep. If you get that deep, you got to look at the score. Oh, my goodness. Wow. Oh, my goodness.
Flex from McCabe. Ooh. How about this jam, Steven?
Oh, my goodness. McCabe putting KJ on a poster.
Gary down the floor, but FDU back on defense. Gary fakes the handoff, gives to Bryce, puts his head down, drives it, and jams it with the right hand. Williams with a big dunk, and the Huskers are up 11-7.
Off and rolling on a Thursday morning. Hey, hope everyone's having a good start to your Thursday. 35 degrees outside on our way to a high of 61 here on November the 14th. So glad you're joining us here on the Morning Blitz. No matter if it's on Goodland's Rocket 1025, the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream, nwksradio.net. We do not care. Just appreciate you joining us here on this Thursday morning. Man, we got a full show ahead today. We'll have another chance to win from the Kansas Lottery. We will be also today diving into our NFL Power 5 coming up here in just a little bit. We will also talk plenty of college basketball in our final segment of today. And we have a great conversation coming up with head coach Lance Barr, Hoxie High School head football coach. They are still in the hunt in the high school football playoffs, and they have a humongous game coming up here on Friday, taking on what's kind of become a nice little rivalry out here in western Kansas as they take on Wichita County in Leota. So look forward to visiting with Coach Barr about that coming up here on the program. But thank you again, once again, for tuning on in. If you'd like to be part of the show, would love to hear from you throughout this show. Once again, the FB Bank text line is open. That number, once again, is 785-899-2222. That's the FNB Bank text line. If you'd like to be a part of the show and talk to me today, keep me company. Once again, no Max. He is, I'm guessing, probably still sleeping at this point in time. He'll be up, I'm guessing, later today to more than likely he's going to be playing golf later today would be my guess. So look forward to hearing about that when Max gets back next week. But no Max, just me today here for the next hour. Some quick house cleaning notes before we get moving into our NFL Power 5. First and foremost, the fall cleanup is going on today here in Goodland. So once again, the high school kids will be out and about helping clean up yards. So be aware of that if you're out driving around. And also, of course, if you're looking to get that yard cleaned up, make sure you get a hold of them. And Coach Goods and everyone there with the fall cleanup crew. That is going on today. It was supposed to happen yesterday. They moved it to today due to kind of the cool, chilly weather that was happening yesterday. Also, by the way, I don't know if anybody heard in the highlights here this morning, but last night I was watching some college basketball and I saw a highlight from the Illinois-Oakland game. And there is a man playing for Oakland by the name of Alan McCabe. And so anyway, this happens to me quite a bit, especially in today's day of transfer portals and also following a little bit of junior college basketball. But Alan McCabe, for those who don't remember, Alan McCabe was an integral part of Colby Community College basketball during the Rusty Elmore years. He was there for, I think, a couple seasons. He then graduated and transferred to UMKC, and now he's playing at Oakland in his grad transfer year. And anyway, he had a huge couple of dunks against Illinois last night in college basketball. So I thought that was interesting to have a little bit of a regional tab. If you heard the highlights of Alan McCabe with a couple of dunks last night in the Illinois game, it was kind of interesting to have that drawn back to Colby Community College back when Rusty Elmore was the head coach. So anyway, neat, cool story there. And speaking of Colby Community College, congratulations to the CCC volleyball team. They are in the national tournament as an at-large bid. I know I said, I think it was on Monday in the sports report that the season was over. I was wrong. I admit that. I thought that once again, you had to win the Region 6 tournament again, and I forgot there were a couple of at-large bids that you could get in. And since Colby Community College is a top 10 ranked team, top 5 ranked team, in this season, and they have one of the best 4 record, one of the best teams still remaining that did not win a conference or a region. They didn't win the Jayhawk Conference or Region 6. And so, but Colby Community College gets in as an at-large, and CCC with that at-large bid, at-large bid, they will be taking on Blinn College. So CCC is the 13th seed in the tournament, and they will take on the 4 seed Blinn College in the first round on November 20th is when that is coming up. So it'll be coming up here on Tuesday. This upcoming Tuesday is when they will be taking on Blinn College in the first round, and that will be happening at 7 o'clock Central Time inside the Dunn Center in Clarksville, Tennessee. I think I was also wrong. I think I said they were going to be at Hutch. That was last year. This year it is in Clarksville, Tennessee, is where the NJCAA Volleyball National Championships will be played. And so they will play Blinn College, first round, coming up on Tuesday, 7 o'clock. Good luck to the Lady Trojans. Also, shout out to fellow Jayhawk member Barton. They are the 6th seed in the tournament, and they'll be taking on Navarro College in Navarro College in the first round there in Clarksville, Tennessee. So congratulations, Colby Community College Volleyball. The season continues. The great, fantastic 2024 season continues, once again with an at-large bid in the NJCAA D1 Volleyball Tournament, and they will take on Blinn College coming up on Tuesday. All right, like I said, we got a full show ahead today. Lance Barr, we'll talk some college hoops as well in the back end of the show, but it is a Thursday, and that means we talk a little bit of NFL football with our NFL Power 5. Let's get into it. So starting out on the NFL Power 5 here in week number, 11, I believe it is? Yes, week 11 in the NFL slate. I'm going to start off with my number 5 game involving a regional team, and that would be the Denver Broncos at home hosting the Atlanta Falcons. Look, the Broncos came so close to knocking off the Chiefs. I had a gut feeling that they were going to possibly get that done, and just like I said, a blocked field goal, something got exposed on their special teams unit, and Kansas City, to their credit, took advantage of it. But Denver, for the most part, played a really good game and almost beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead, but it just was not in the cards this time. Now they return home to welcome Kirk Cousins and the Falcons. Kirk Cousins having a pretty darn good season, over 2,600 yards passing, 17 touchdowns, and 8 picks. They come in as the number 5 passing offense in the NFL, and they've got tons of weapons, whether it's Bijan Robinson or Darnell Mooney or Drake London. They've got tons of, although London I think is out with a hip, but nonetheless, they've got lots of good weapons. Kyle Pitts, the tight end, they're a very good offensive team. In fact, they are the 5th passing offense, and they are the 5th in total yards per game total offense. Now, when it comes to points per game, they're about middle of the pack when it comes to points per game, but they put up a lot of yards, does Atlanta. And you've got this Denver defense, which we have seen all season long how good they are. They are 6th in the league, allowing 315 yards per game. They've been very, very good, and they're the top 5 defense scoring. So once again, I go back to these great matchups, a great offense in Atlanta taking on a really good defense. But honestly, I also am intrigued to see how does this Kansas City offense this Denver offense continue to grow with Bo Nix. He looked very good in that loss at Kansas City. He looked very good. We see Audric Estime getting a lot more. He's getting more touches. Will he get going in the running game? But I'm fascinated by this game. That's why it makes my NFL Power 5 at number 5. Moving on to number 4 here on the NFL Power 5 in Week 11, it is the Sunday night contest between the LA Chargers and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Chargers are a current just 1.5-point favorite at home, so pretty much a toss-up type of game. Look, the Bengals are, unfortunately, probably the best team with the worst record in the NFL. Is that the way I can put it? I mean, 4-6. They've got a great quarterback in Joe Burrow who's thrown 24 touchdowns and just 4 picks. When you see those type of numbers, you're thinking that you're going to have a pretty good season. It's just not been the case. That's because their defense has just not been very good whatsoever. They have a top 6 offense, but they have a bottom 6 defense. allowing over 26 points per game and over 350 yards per game on defense. They are allowing are the Cincinnati Bengals. And then you have this Chargers team that I don't think really has a ton of high-end talent. I just don't think they do. They've got J.K. Dobbins, who's having a nice resurgence after some injury-filled years, 6 touchdowns so far this season. And Justin Herbert has not been asked to shoulder the load and do too much. This to me is the way you have success as a quarterback. And if you're a young quarterback in particular, which Herbert is not, but you don't put it all on the shoulders of Justin Herbert to go out and win you games. You remember previous seasons, it's all been on Herbert to go out and throw the ball around the field to multiple different people and get them all involved and score a lot of points. That has been the key. That's all changed with Jim Harbaugh. What does Harbaugh believe in? Play really good defense, run the football, and throw it when you have to. What has that resulted in? Well, that's resulted in the best scoring defense in the National Football League at just 13 points per game. They're a top 10 total yardage defense at this point in time per game. And the offense is not relied upon so heavily to score a bunch of points because you're only giving up 13. Herbert, by the way, doesn't even have 2,000 yards passing in Week 11, where he would maybe had 3,000 in previous years, and only 11 touchdowns, but just 1 interception. When you don't put so much on your quarterback to have to go and do so much, he doesn't then have all the pressure of throwing interceptions, turning the ball over, giving the opposition more opportunities. I just think it's such a great success story that we're seeing with the Chargers and what Jim Harbaugh wants to do. We'll run the football, we'll throw it when we have to, and we'll play good defense. Kind of the way the game was designed to be done to an extent. Except when you throw the ball a whole lot of times, you lead to having being a lot of turnovers. Now, Joe Burrow, an exception to that. You know, he's had a lot of touchdowns and not many turnovers, but his defense can't stop anything. But I think Chargers and Bengals. I think the Bengals could beat almost any team in the NFL. Unfortunately, they could also lose to almost any team in the NFL. Chargers, kind of in that same boat. You know, they could beat a lot of teams, but they could also lose to a lot of teams because they don't score a ton of points, but their defense has been elite. All right, moving on here. Week number 11 in the NFL Power 5. We're going to the NFC Norris division. In the words of Chris Boomer, you have the Steelers, 7-2, taking on the Ravens at 7-3. The top of the AFC North is on the line in Pittsburgh on Sunday afternoon. Right now, the Ravens, despite being on the road, a 3-point favorite at this point in time. Look, the Ravens, I think, are statistically the best football team in the NFL. They're first in points per game. They're also a pretty darn, I should say they're the best offensive football team. Defensively, maybe not so much. They give up a lot of points. They give up a lot of yards, but because their offense can score a bunch, it doesn't matter a whole lot. But you've got the number 1 scoring offense in Baltimore, number 1 in total offense, in yards and in points per game, third best passing team. They're the best rushing team in the NFL. They're the best offensive team in the NFL statistically. And then you have the Steelers, who come in as the second best defensive team, at least in points per game, and are a top 10 team in yards allowed per game. Love that matchup. How does J.J. Watt find a way to slow down Lamar Jackson and this offense and Derrick Henry? Can they find a way to do that with that great defense? If there's a team that can do it, it's probably Mike Tomlin's Steelers. And then give a lot of kudos to Russell Wilson. Since taking over there, this offense has found some footing. I'm not saying it's dynamic, but it's been decent. Najee Harris is having probably his best season as a professional. Came in as a great player out of Alabama, but really hasn't done a lot. But he's racked up over 600 yards here this year. He may eclipse 1,000, but only 3 touchdowns at this point in time. But I give a lot of credit to Russell Wilson and how well he has played. And because of it, the Steelers have actually won 4 in a row coming into this game. So they're hot. And you've got the Ravens, who we know have dropped some games to the Browns this year and another questionable one earlier in the season to the Raiders. But they've been so good, have the Ravens at this point in time. And they're coming off a really good game, but they've had also, 10 days to rest up after that close game over the Bengals at home. I just think this game will be very entertaining. Once again, I love the matchup of a great offense, the best offense in the NFL statistically, against one of the better statistical defenses in the NFL in the Steelers. So Ravens-Steelers, my number 3 in the NFL Power 5. On to number 2, featuring another regional team, the Kansas City Chiefs, on the road at the Bills. Look, the biggest reason this game makes the top 5 is because of the quarterback matchup. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. The funny thing is, if you were to look at the numbers, you would say, what in the world happened? We're in an opposite universe right here. Patrick Mahomes, over 2,200 yards passing, 12 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions, Well, Josh Allen has thrown for over 2,200 yards as well, 17 touchdowns, just 4 picks. Now, if you would have said that a couple years ago, you would have said, well, the latter numbers are Mahomes's and the first numbers are Allen's because Allen's throwing more picks. Not the case. Give a lot of credit to Josh Allen. Give a lot of credit to the Bills' offensive staff. They have found a way to let Josh Allen be Josh Allen while limiting the mistakes in the passing game. Now, more credit probably goes to Josh Allen. And because of it, they're a very, very good football team. They are the number 3rd ranked team in points per game. And when you go to, yards per game, they're in the top half of the league, but they score a lot of points, does Buffalo. And their defense, as it has been for most of the time, despite a lot of key injuries for Buffalo, their defense is still very good. A top 10 defense when it comes to points per game allowed at this point in time. But we all know facing the Chiefs is very difficult. And look, Mahomes said it this week in a presser. He's talking about how, the Buffalo fans, they don't like me. They don't like me up there. And, they'll be out for blood. Buffalo has not been able to get Kansas City when it matters the most. And they've come so close so many times. I'm not saying Buffalo's going to win. The Chiefs are actually 2.5-point dogs going into this game at this point in time. But I don't know. The Chiefs have found a way to win games despite not playing that amazing. And that's just we've talked about it before. Talked on Monday with Nick Athen about how it's just impressive how this football team continues to find ways to win despite the fact that, they just haven't really looked that great, if we're being completely and openly honest. It's been very, very impressive to see how that is all it's just been very impressive to see how that all has come together for them at this point in time. So the Chiefs are, like I said, a very hard force to stop, but the Bills, I think, will be up to the task. I just don't know if they'll be able to get it done. But the Bills and Chiefs, no doubt, number 2 in the NFL Power 5 here in Week 11. And the top game, well, I think it's actually going to be tonight's contest on Thursday Night Football. Back-to-back weeks, we could see the best game of the weekend, possibly on Thursday night. So Herb Street and Al Michaels can actually have some good fun tonight. But how about the Commanders at the Eagles? This game, to me, when I saw it was the Thursday night game this past a week ago, I thought, ooh, that's a good game. I'm going to tune in to watch that. How could you not be intrigued? You've got the Eagles, which have kind of been, for the last, 3 or 4 years, really been the staple of the NFC East. They've been the kings of the crop, and everyone else, the Giants, the Cowboys, and Washington have just kind of been in the dumpsters during that entire time. But now you've got the Commanders with a new head coach, a new OC, and more in particular, a superstar rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels. I'm telling you, this game becomes very intriguing. Look, this is a great quarterback matchup. Jalen Hurts puts up yards, both passing the football and rushing the football. They have got weapons galore on this offense, which is, by the way, the 7th scoring offense in the league and the 2nd in yards per game in the league, only behind the Baltimore Ravens. So this is an elite offense with Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert. You can go down the list. Well, I think Goddard's actually out with an injury, but they've got so many great weapons, does Philadelphia, on the offensive side, which is why they are one of the best offenses. And you've got Washington, on the other hand, with a rookie quarterback that's actually scoring more points per game, 29 per contest. And they're actually a top 15 defense at this point in time. They're doing a really, really good job. That's the thing about the Eagles we don't talk about enough, is that they're a top 5 defense as well. You could look at it and say the Eagles are probably one of the most complete football teams in the NFL. Because we talk about the Ravens being so good offensively and how many yards that they put up week in and week out. But defensively, they're kind of middle of the pack. The Eagles put up a ton of yards, and they also don't allow a whole lot. They're a very complete football team. And you got Washington, on their hand, which is kind of a complete football team too. I mean, they're a top 15 defense, and a top 5 offense. Kind of a complete team too. But I just want to see, what does Jaden Daniels do against the Eagles? It's kind of a rivalry game that's getting renewed because the Eagles have dominated it for such a long time, but we'll see. The Commanders come in here having lost to the Steelers on that last-second play. Does that hurt, or kind of late in the game, I should say, not last-second play, but does that hurt them going into tonight, or is it not? While the Eagles come into this, won 5 in a row. They've beaten the Browns, the Giants, the Bengals, the Jaguars, the Cowboys. They haven't played anybody in the last 5 games, but this could be a challenge for them. But this game to me is the most intriguing game of the weekend. And trust me, there's some good ones. Like Bills Chiefs is very intriguing. It's a close number 2. And Ravens Steelers is a close number 3. And then you kind of drop down, you get to the Cincinnati Bengals and the Chargers, and then the Falcons and the Broncos. But Commanders Eagles, no doubt to me, number 1 game. I'm so intrigued for this game tonight. What does it look like? Hurts versus Daniels. I think this is a kind of a quarterback rivalry game, kind of the first time we see it, and it could be the first of a long time that we see this going on. Right now, Eagles favored by 3.5. They are at home. How does Jaden Daniels handle the link, the tough place to play? All very fascinating stuff here on week number 11 in the NFL. So once again, recapping, I've got Falcons at Broncos at number 5, Bengals going to visit the Chargers at number 4, Ravens at the Steelers for number 3, the Chiefs at the Bills number 2, and the Commanders at the Eagles in number 1. So very, very interesting games here, I think, coming up in week 11 of the NFL slate. So there you go. That is the NFL Power 5 here on a Thursday. We will take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware hotline by our friend Lance Barr. Hoxie High School head football coach will join us next and talk about the great season that the Indians are having. And on top of that, what to expect for a huge matchup coming up here tonight on Friday, I beg your pardon, with Wichita County. A very, very interesting game coming up Friday night. That's all next. You are listening to the Morning Blitz here on a Thursday morning. Stick around.
The right Christmas gifts make your holiday season stressful. NWKS Radio's Christmas Marketplace has an entire gym full of vendors with the perfect gifts for all the people on your list. Stop by the Colby Event Center Friday, November 29th from 1 to 6, Saturday, November 30th from 10 to 4, or Sunday, December 1st from 1 to 4, and find a one-stop shop for all of your Christmas shopping needs. NWKS Radio's Christmas Marketplace is free to attend, and there will be concessions available. Visit nwksradio.net for more information.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with the Anderson Trade Group. Today is Thursday, November 14th. And on the overnight last night, December corn lower a cent at 4.25 1/2. March down a cent at 4.36 1/2. May down a cent at 4.43 1/4. July down 1 1/4 at 4.46 1/4. January soybeans down a 1/2 cent on the overnight at 10.07 1/4. March down a cent at 10.17 1/2. May down 1 at 10.30 1/2. July down 1 1/2 at 10.42. Chicago wheat, the December contract lower 3 1/2 on the overnight at 5.37 1/2. March down 3 1/2 at 5.53. May down 3 1/2 at 5.63. July down 4 1/4 at 5.70. Kansas City wheat, December contract lower 3 on the overnight at 5.77 3/4. March down 2 3/4 at 5.52. May down 3 1/4 at 5.60 3/4. July hard wheat down 4 1/4 on the overnight at 5.68 3/4. On the stock market this morning, the Dow up $75 at 44,183. The S&P down 2 at 6,013. The Nasdaq down 23 at 21,136. Crude oil up 65 cents a barrel, and gold lower $24 an ounce at 2,562. If you have any questions about marketing grain or would like to talk about risk management options, give our Colorado office a call. John Hankey or John Stiles at 970-744-4484, or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Pluto, Jared Law, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000.
The Anderson Trade Group, proud market partners with Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio. Find out more at andersongrain.com. The risk of loss through trading futures and or options is substantial, and each investor and or trader must consider whether this is a suitable investment. Past performance, whether actual or indicated, is not indicative of future results. The Anderson Trade Group has no guarantee that the advice given will result in profitable trades.
Not all seed companies focus on sorghum and forages, but Advanta Seeds does. We prioritize yields and quality because that's what creates value for your business. So if you're dealing with it in the field, we're in the fight with high growth for tough weeds like Texas panicum and foxtail, Afix for proven protection from sugarcane aphids, and BMR6 for increased digestibility and greater gains. Talk to your seed dealer about Advanta Seeds and our industry-leading sorghum and forage portfolio.
Now's the time to get right with Pivot Bio Nitrogen. The right source at the right rate at the right time in the right place. Sounds good, right? And now is the right time to act. with zero payments, zero interest, and zero worry until December 1st, 2025 on the best source of nitrogen. Get right with Pivot Bio. For more information, visit pivotsprovenit.com. That's pivotsprovenit.com.
The Red Tag sales event is going on at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas, and the savings are rolling in. Right now, drive home with 0% APR on select popular Chevy models, making it the perfect time to upgrade. Or take advantage of 1.9% APR for 60 months, plus over $3,700 total value when you trade in an eligible vehicle. Imagine the possibilities in a new Chevy, from trucks to SUVs, all with these amazing savings. Stop by Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas, and find your perfect match. Or online at hurlchev.com.
At FNB Bank, we understand the backbone of our community is our local farmers and ranchers. Whether you're growing crops, raising livestock, or investing in new equipment, we're here to help you succeed. Our agricultural loans are tailored to meet the unique needs of your farm, with flexible terms from people who understand what it takes to make it in agriculture. When you partner with FNB Bank, you're working with neighbors who know the land and are invested in your success. FNB Bank, rooted in our community, growing with you. Member FDIC.
The real winner?
It's the Morning Blitz.
Continuing here on a Thursday morning, so glad you could join us on the Morning Blitz. We will get to some college basketball talk coming up here in just a little bit. Looking back at what happened with Colorado, and as well as Colorado, Nebraska played a little bit last night as well. Already talked about Alan Mukeba right off the bat. Talking about the former Colby Community College basketball player with a humongous dunk this last night in a game against Illinois. But we'll get to more college basketball stuff coming up here in just a little bit. K-State basketball, by the way, in action tonight. We'll get to more of that in a little bit as well. And I've got some thoughts on a story out of the NBA for the walk-off. That's right. What, Ross, talking the NBA? Yeah, I'll do that in the walk-off coming up here in just a little bit. But pleased to be joined now. And it's time to, the high school football playoffs are coming up, and it's time to have a good conversation with our good friend from Hoxie High School. That would be Lance Barr. Well, the high school football playoffs are in full swing, and it's time to visit with another area coach that still has his team on the hunt at this point in time. We're joined now on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware hotline by friend of the program, Hoxie head football coach Lance Barr. Coach, good morning. How we doing? How we feeling a couple weeks into the postseason?
Doing good, feeling pretty good. It's a game that everybody on this team, our players, our coaches, everybody's been really excited for, something we've been looking forward to all year.
Yeah, the Wichita County game is going to be huge, and we'll get to that here in just a little bit. But I wanted to talk a little bit about last week. How did you guys handle what was some amazing pictures and videos I saw from a distance with the weather this past weekend?
We handled it great. Our kids really embraced it. When it was all said and done, they were very cold and probably took a while to get warmed back up. But we really embraced it. And I told them before the game, these type of games come down to mental toughness, and whichever team has the most of it's probably going to come out on top. You can throw a lot of things out the door when it comes to games like that. And as you look across some of the scores across the state, in perfect conditions, I'm sure a lot of those games turn out the other way. And that's one thing we didn't want to happen, is make sure, these conditions didn't dictate, a change in the outcome. So we went into it. Our kids were really excited. And I think once that kickoff happened, kind of forgot all about the poor conditions, the cold and the wet and all that stuff.
Where does that rank on some of the most interesting weather that you either coached or played in your history?
That's got to be number one. I said it earlier this year when we played at St. Francis. It rained basically the whole game, but it wasn't near as cold, windy, any of that. So the field conditions there was a lot better than it was, Friday night. And, besides that game and, the one last week, there was one game we played in late October in Oakley my first year, where it was just snowing the entire time. So those are probably the top three, but I mean, this one's by far the worst conditions and probably just the most memorable.
Was there ever any conversations about moving the game, or was it just like we're playing it right now?
No, there really wasn't. When we first got done with that, opening playoff game, we were in conversations about, hey, let's play it early, since Oxford's coming from so far away, and really it never was talked about again after that. So we weren't expecting it probably to be as bad as it was, but I mean, we had a couple inches of rain, so you can imagine it was very wet.
Yeah, I saw some pictures, I saw some videos, and yeah, it looked amazing. My favorite is the picture of everybody standing there holding the trophy or the plaque, and you can just see it just raining down behind it. It's just a great scene there to see that, and I'm guessing that motivated the guys to get that game over at halftime too.
Yeah, it definitely was a huge motivating factor, especially, we come out, we got 2 quick turnovers and a couple quick scores. And, anytime you do that and with the conditions the way they are, as I said, that just mental toughness really plays a role, especially if you get up early. That's a lot to climb out of. You're not battling not only battling the elements, but you're battling that deficit. And it's really hard to come out of. And it's kind of all downhill from there. We just kept it rolling. And never really gave him a chance to get going. So
we're visiting with the head coach of the Hoxie Indians, Lance Barr, here on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware hotline this morning. The Indians, a huge game coming up against Wichita County. Before we get into that game, Coach, the last 4 contests, you've had some. The last, really, if you want to go back over the last 6 games, you go back to Decatur Community. That was a good game, a good team in Decatur Community, a good team in Hill City. St. Francis is on the rebound this year, and Rollins County's had a great season with a really good running back. And over the last 4 games, you've allowed just 6 total points. Why has this defense just continued to really shine and limit opponents to putting the ball in the end zone?
Well, I think it just starts with our basics, our fundamentals, and then just our defensive concept. It's being gap sound and eliminating big plays and just staying strong. And these guys are a great unit. We have a lot of upperclassmen, a lot of seniors, and a lot of guys that have been playing in the positions that they're in on this defense for quite some time. Some of these guys are 3-year starters. So I think that experience is huge, and just understanding their assignments and doing it to their best of their ability, every single play. Where a lot of teams, fail defensively is you get beat here and there. Obviously, that's going to happen when you have matchups and things. We've been able to, have guys in place that are able to win those one-on-ones and those matchups, and we're able just to stay sound defensively. So it makes it difficult on opposing offenses, and obviously we've been able to turn the ball over a lot too. So we've been able to stay on the plus side of that in the majority of our games. So just those guys playing to the scheme and playing to our technique, and that's really what it amounts to.
Who's been more impressive in your mind? Has it been senior quarterback Duncan Bell, who's accounted for 27 total touchdowns, or Braden Sheets, who's got 25 rushing and another receiving, so 26 total touchdowns for him? Of those 2 guys, who's been more impressive?
Wow. The offensive line.
Great answer.
I'll tell you what, these guys didn't have, we didn't have any interior starters coming back. And we've been having 4 guys rotate through, 3 of those positions, and they've done a great job for us. They've grasped everything. We've had a lot of different defensive fronts thrown at us, a lot of different pressures and things, and they've done a fantastic job. They don't win every single battle they're in, but it's the accumulation of things. So that they've done a great job of picking everything up, and I couldn't be more proud of how far they've come from week 1 to now. And those guys, Braden and Duncan, and you can even throw Easton in there. Those guys are playmakers, and they're doing their own thing as well, and they do a great job. Braden's in there, and he gets a lot of the harder yards when we're in double tight and towards the end of games where we need to finish. And Duncan, he's part of that too. But in the passing game and even last week, in the run game, we used him a lot in the run game. So those guys are expected to make plays, and they have the ability to do that. But if it wasn't for the guys putting in the work in front of them, I think this is, since our last state championship in 2017, I think this is just the most complete team that I've ever coached. So it takes all 8 of us that are out there.
Absolutely. Once again, Lance Barr, our guest, Hoxie Indian head football coach, as the Indians get set to take on Wichita County here coming up on Friday. Boy, you talked about, that developing that offensive line, being a bunch of younger guys, inexperienced guys coming into this season, playing in a lot of the games like you guys have this year where you've kind of won substantially. And even though you want to have good games, it really is good for the continued long-term development of your program, because guys get in that are young, whether they're on the line or in the backfield or wherever it may be on the defense, and they get that game time experience. How big is that to having continued success that you've had at Hoxie?
Yeah, I think that's always important to get the real-time varsity experience, but something I think that's just as important is, with these younger guys, when they're not always in the mix for the varsity games, it's pretty easy to check out. It's really important for those guys to stay involved in the game plan, understand what we're doing, understand how, for those offensive linemen specifically, to understand how our scheme goes with this defensive front that we're seeing this week. And, for those guys to hear that from, their freshman year all the way through, they may not get it this year, but hey, I heard that before. So, it starts piling up, and they just start to understand things, and just helps immensely by the time, they're sophomores, juniors, seniors. They're like, yeah, we've heard this before. We know what we're doing. So just grasping that stuff, because it's a lot. You can see multiple fronts throughout a game, and you have to know how to block each one of them for all of our schemes. So it can be difficult and it can be overwhelming, but to those guys that are upperclassmen that have been playing that position for 3-4 years, it should almost come second nature to them by that time.
All right, let's transition into this humongous game on Friday. I think you probably knew deep down when the season began that you were probably going to meet them at some point in time in Wichita County. And so what are your thoughts now that has actually come to fruition?
Well, you said it. We kind of expected it. Obviously, we had some things to take care of before we got to it, and it just kind of worked out exactly how we thought it was going to. So we're just really excited, and we didn't play them earlier in the regular season as we had in the past, and it's just a game that our entire team is up for, especially our seniors. They are really excited. They're really hungry for Wichita County. We've been on the wrong side of the most of these games recently, so it's been a while. I think it was 3 years ago, 2021, maybe, when we beat them in the postseason, and that's the only time that anybody on this team has beat Wichita County. So that was there, and hopefully we can repeat what we did back in 2021.
Yeah, I mean, it would be that. I don't even think the seniors in this year's group would have played them, right? They or have beat them yet, I would guess, right? We've lost 3 in a row. No, because I guess you played them probably twice in the same year. How come you didn't play them early on in the season or schedule them? And do you think that is an advantage, not having played them earlier in the season?
I'm not sure if it's an advantage or a disadvantage. The reasoning, their coach and myself talked beforehand. As you look at our history, we've played each other 2 times. We didn't last year because we fell short against that Elsley game, which was were very hungry to see them a second time last year. It just didn't happen. So, and we talked before that, in the scheduling meeting, that happens in September, I believe, or early October. So the coach so we were expecting to see each other at Sub-State, see each other 2 times that year and talk, hey, we see each other 2 times a year the way it is. What do you think about, try and find a different game and probably meet up in the postseason. So we both kind of agreed that would be a better idea. As you said, is it an advantage, disadvantage not playing them or playing them? I can see it both ways. I really, if you look back to 2021, we got beat pretty handily early in the season to Wichita County, and we were able to kind of understand what they were doing a little bit better for that postseason game because of that. But we're very familiar with each other, so I think we have a grasp of what each other is doing. And we also did play them in that jamboree earlier this year, so we got a few plays against them.
Final one for you. Lance Barr, by the way, our guest here on the Morning Blitz, head coach of Hoxie High. But what stands out to you about this Wichita County team this year when you watch the film?
Well, their big playability. I think that's the main thing. When they're scoring touchdowns, it's on big plays. You rarely see them, have very sustained drives. It's usually, 2 to 5 plays before they're scoring a touchdown. I mean, they're all big plays. They're getting 20, 30, 40, 50, 60-yard touchdown runs. And most of the time it is in the run game. So, and they do a lot of things. They get you going laterally, and, they might get you outside, or, they might see something open up in the middle where they can bust something. But they're very good at breaking tackles, and that's how they're getting those big plays. So we're just going to have to, rally to the football, make sure we're sound. We're not letting anything open up on the backside for them to cut back. But I think that's the biggest thing is if you look at their yards per rush and things like that, it's just crazy. So we're gonna have to eliminate the big play and make them work for everything they get. If they do have a scoring drive, it needs to be a long scoring drive where they have to work for everything they get.
Head coach of the Hoxie Indians, Lance Barr. Coach, thank you so much for taking some time with us today. Really appreciate it. Best of luck here on Friday.
All right, thank you.
Once again, great stuff there from head coach Lance Barr of the Hoxie Indians. Huge game coming up here on Friday against Wichita County. I mean, those two teams, they think they've played 9 times here recently, and their all-time series. I think Wichita County has won 7 of the 9. And we talked about, that we talked a little bit ago just about the 2021 was the last time they beat them. So Wichita County's beat them 3 times in a row. And I think it's gonna be a huge game. I think it'll be a pretty good game. I mean, Hoxie's not been beaten. Wichita County has. They lost to Haxton, Colorado, I think, in the season opener, but have gone on a roll ever since then. So to me, it's probably the game of the week kind of in our region between Hoxie and Wichita County, a very intriguing matchup. Okay, we're going to get to a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up the show with a few thoughts on some college basketball from last night and also an interesting story, not in a good way, I don't think, from the NBA. Coming up to wrap up the show on the walk-off next, you're listening to the Morning Blitz.
And Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware has the perfect gifts to make Christmas merry and bright. Need something special for that grill master? Check out their top line of grills and griddles from Blackstone, Traeger, and Weber. Guaranteed to make their holiday sizzle. Stocking stuffers, they've got you covered with tools, gadgets, and must-haves for every DIYer in your life. And tackle winter head-on with their powerful Ego snowblowers, perfect for clearing the way this season. Plus, spruce up your home for the holidays with a fresh coat of Benjamin Moore paint, or get ready for the new year with a stunning remodel. Enjoy the holidays this year with Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, with locations in Goodland and Colby.
Outdoor lighting brings safety and security to your home, farm, or business. Midwest Energy makes outdoor lighting easy with its leased lighting program. We offer a variety of lighting types and designs, including energy-saving LED lights. Turnkey outdoor light options are available starting at around $10 a month, with electricity included. Learn more about leased lighting by calling 1-800-222-3121. Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative making energy work for you.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, it's Andrew Hoiberg from Calcium Products. Rapidly correct and maintain your soil pH with 98G pelletized limestone to protect your fertilizer investment. Applying 98G at 200 pounds per acre provides a 9.4 bushel increase on corn and a 3.1 bushel increase on soybeans. Ask your agronomist about applying 98G pelletized limestone this fall and learn more at calciumproducts.com.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
The Farmers State Bank of Oakley has been financing agriculture since the day we opened our doors. Hello, this is Corbin, and we are proud to be your locally owned partner in ag. We invite you to come and visit with us when you need to purchase new or used farm equipment or need any type of agriculture or business loan. We have the knowledge, experience, and financial resources to keep you growing. The Farmers State Bank of Oakley, a tradition of community and agriculture for over 115 years. Member FDIC.
To your morning commute. It's all sports, all the time.
It's all they talk about.
This is the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
Wrapping up a show here on a Thursday. Glad you've hung with us here, no matter if it's on the Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware hotline or, of course, the old-fashioned radio. Thank you so much for being a part of the Morning Blitz. Oh, forgot to do this real quickly. Right now, if you want to text in the word holiday, 785-899-2222 to the FNB Bank text line. It's the word holiday to 785-899-2222. You can be our final winner from the Kansas Lottery. We've just got one more ticket to give away from the Kansas Lottery for the Holiday Instant Scratch tickets. So text in the word holiday to 785-899-2222, and you could be a winner from the Kansas Lottery here this morning. Forgot to do that. Just saw the paper and got to get that in. So once again, the word holiday to the FNB Bank text line, 785-899-2222, and you can be a winner here this morning. College basketball last night. Nebraska and Colorado were on the hardwood in their third games of the season. Colorado picking up an 83-53 dominant win over Cal State Fullerton. They only led by 6 at halftime, but outscored them, doubled them up in the second half. Outscored Cal State Fullerton 48-24 in the second 20 minutes of that basketball game. They got a great performance out of Andre, I think it's Jakomowski is how you say his name. Anyway, he was 6 of 12 and hit 5 of 8 3-pointers, 17 points to lead the way for the Buffaloes. They got Julian Hammond, the third, with 11 points, and Bangot Doc also got in the double figures with 11 points last night. But Colorado splashed in 12 3-pointers, 12 of 27 from three. They shot actually 56% from the floor. A great offensive night for Colorado as they get to 3-0 with that win over Cal State Fullerton. Nebraska last night at home extended their home winning streak. Now have won 15 straight home games at Pinnacle Bank Arena. They win 86-60 over the Knights of Fairleigh Dickinson, or better known as now FDU. Remember that great story a couple of years ago at the NCAA tournament, FDU making that great run as the 16? That was pretty cool. Nonetheless, not the same FDU team. Although they did put up a good fight, Nebraska got out to actually led by 20 at the end of the first half, 45-25, but FDU closed, I think, down to like single digits in that second half, and then Nebraska kind of stepped on the gas late and pulled away for an 86-60 win. They got 19 points from Jawan Gary on 5 of 9 shooting, 12 points from Bjerke Bukengel, the Turkish native, with 12, and the transfer from UCLA gave 12 points there, and then 10 points for Bryce Williams. In fact, anyone who touched the floor for Nebraska got a point last night in some form or fashion. Once again, the stat line that continues to stand out to me about Nebraska is they are not great offensively when it comes to shooting the basketball. Only 43% from the floor last night and just 7 of 28 from three. And if it wasn't for kind of some late three-point shooting, like in the second half, I don't think that number would have been that great. Nebraska has not been a great three-point shooting team this season through 3 games. I know it's early. Fred Hoiberg said last night, just wait till we get the lid off the basket. We are a good three-point shooting team. It has not shown that through 3 games. But one area they have been very good at, and I will give them a lot of credit, they have found ways to get to the free throw line. And when they have gotten to the free throw line, they have made free throws. Last night, 23 of 28, 82%. So they get to the foul line and they make their free throws. And there's a lot of teams that believe in that. You know what? You can go and you can win a lot of games just by going and getting to the free throw line and doing that. So credit to Fred Hoiberg, and hopefully that three-point lid will come off at some point in time, because I don't think you can win many games against the big dogs in your own conference in the Big Ten in this example. Or it doesn't matter if it's the Big 12, Pac-12, or sorry, not the Pac-12. ACC, you got to be able to make threes. We talked about it. What was it, yesterday? Yeah, I think yesterday we talked about it, with Duke not being able to hit three-pointers. You've got to be able to hit threes in today's college basketball. You have to be able to do it at some decent level, over 30%. If you're going to win consistently. And so that's a big thing. Tonight, a huge game for Kansas State men's basketball. They get their first test. Heck, even for the women, it's a great test tonight. They got a doubleheader today at Bramlage Coliseum starting at 5:30 Central Time. The K-State women will host Creighton, which has been an up-and-down program over the past few years. But the K-State women are a top 10 ranked team taking on Creighton. And then following that, you've got K-State welcoming in LSU for the second game of a doubleheader that's going to tip around 8 o'clock Central Time approximately. But this is an interesting game. A couple of reasons why. K-State trying to get to 3-0 for the first time since the 22-23 campaign when they got to 6-0. K-State is so much better in three-point shooting than they were a previous year ago. I mean, the addition of Brendan Housen has been so big. He's got 10 made three-pointers so far, and the 23 triples are the most after the first 2 games since the 23-24 season when they made 20. But they're such an improved three-point shooting team. But the fun fact of it is that they're facing LSU tonight, which is the number 1 team in basketball in the NCAA in three-point field goal percentage defense. They hold opponents to 11.8. So what wins that battle? Great three-point defense from LSU or the great three-point shooting of Kansas State? K-State shooting 43% from 3. And LSU allows 11.8. A fascinating story going into this game. And the other great story about this game, the return of Cam Carter. Transferred after being at Kansas State the last 2 seasons. He went to LSU. He is there. He's now averaging 10 points and 4 rebounds. He is there averaging now, I think, 21 points per game. He's the leading scorer for LSU after he averaged 10 points and 4 rebounds for Kansas State. He's now the main dog at LSU for Cam Carter, who grew up I think was grown up around 40 minutes outside of Baton Rouge. So interesting story. Cam Carter coming back to Bramlage. How does he perform? And then the three-point battle between the great three-point shooting of Kansas State and the great three-point defense of LSU. There we go. Couldn't get my words out there. But yeah, I think it's all very fascinating stuff coming up here tonight. You can catch that game on ESPN Plus, or of course on your home for K-State hoops. That would be 100.3 The Ride.
A 3-run walk-off home run, a game-winning walk-off with a walk-off.
His second walk-off hit of the season.
In walk-off fashion, that baby's go.
I saw this interesting story on The Athletic here this morning, but Bronny James is staying home. That was the headline. And the story goes, Bronny James will only play in home games for the G League's South Bay Lakers. Bronny is a member of the Lakers' 15-man roster, but has played just 16 minutes this year. Cutting out road G League games will significantly lessen overall playing time for Bronny, already considered an especially raw prospect. Those are the words verbatim from The Athletic. What are we doing here? So you're telling me because you're LeBron's son that you can just do whatever you want. You know what? I don't want to go on the road. I'm just going to stay here, and then maybe I'll be I'm not going to leave LA. I'm just going to stay here, and maybe I'll get to play when the Lakers are home, but I'll certainly play when the G League team's home. But I'm not going to go on the road and stay in those questionable hotels. I'm not going to do that. No, I'm just going to stay. What in the world are we doing, people? This is so dumb. Why are we letting this guy do whatever the heck he wants because he's LeBron James' son? And that's the only reason why. Dumb, dumb, dumb. Bronny James, once again, is not going to play in the road games for the G League team. He's only going to play in the home game so he can stay close to daddy. Thank you, Jared. I appreciate your agreement. Stupid. Absolutely stupid. Bronny James staying home. He's not going to play any of the road games. I don't like Bronny James. I've never hated LeBron James, never loved LeBron James. But this makes me not like him anymore. We'll see you tomorrow here on a Friday. Here on the Morning Blitz. Hope you join us.